So we're at the time of year again in which many people have watched movies throughout January to December. Now, this is my personal list. Don't believe that my list is right, and don't even believe it's wrong. It's just my personal opinion. You might have a different, a completely different list, or you might not even agree with the order that I go in. But yeah, so this is my top 10 list of films which I enjoyed this year, and like I said, it's subjective. So at number 10, I am giving the spot to Prey. Now, Prey is a film directed by Dan Trachtenberg, starring Amber Midthunder, and essentially it's a prequel to the 1987 Predator starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And honestly, this film kind of brought back the roots of what a Predator film should be like. We had so many sequels to Predator 1987 and they're all missed completely. Predator 2 was alright. Alien vs Predator was okay-ish. Alien vs Predator Requiem was absolute garbage. Predators was, I guess it was okay. Dead Predator was, I don't know what happened there. And it was just literally all over the place. But Prey brings it back to its roots. You have suspense, you have thrills, you have some great, violent action set pieces. I think it's a great film and a great way to carry on the franchise, even though you went backwards in terms of making a sequel. At number 9, I give it to Violent Night. Now, Violent Night was a Christmas film, which I didn't even expect to be that good, but it was so fun to watch in cinemas. And the main reason I want to watch it one is David Harbour, and 2 is John Leguizamo. Love them 2 actors, and the whole concept is great. If you haven't seen it, you got Santa Claus who's delivering presents, and he ends up falling upon a house in which it gets burgled, and a lot of mercenaries are trying to break in and trying to find out where all this $300 million in cash is. And essentially he gets caught in between the crossfire between the family being held hostage and the goons trying to break in and find out where the money is held. So it's like Die Hard meets Home Alone, and I think that's quite a cool sort of concept that you can mix together. And don't forget, John Leguizamo was in Die Hard 2 as one of the bad guys. He doesn't have a big role, but he's in the film nonetheless. But yeah, it was a great film, and I genuinely hope they make a sequel of A Violent Night. At number 8, I'm giving it to The Black Phone, and The Black Phone is going to be a bit of a controversial sort of a pick, only because not a lot of people rated it, and I genuinely loved it because of the fact that you had Ethan Hawke as a serial killer abductor / rapist who abducts kids, boys mainly, and does whatever he wants to them. And it's kind of like a thriller / horror, and it had a lot of unique themes which are similar to Sinister. And the reason why it's similar to Sinister is because of the director, and the director was Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson directed Doctor Strange, he directed Sinister, and he's teamed up with Ethan Hawke again for this film. And essentially is about a kid who gets abducted and is trying to fight for survival because he ends up seeing this phone which is not in use, but somehow he gets contacted by the spirits of those who Ethan Hawke serial killer has killed. It's a great concept, it's unique, it has a lot of thrills in it, and it kind of has a lot of suspense as well, and I enjoyed it for what it was, and therefore I'll give the spot to The Black Phone for number 8. Number 7 is one of my favourite horror films of the entire year, and that's Smile. Now, Smile was a film that was originally a short film that was submitted to film festivals, and if you're a filmmaker and you want to get yourself out there, I honestly think that making horror films and submitting into film festivals is the best way to go. I'm probably going to make a horror film sooner or later, and I'm hoping that it somehow bangs, but yeah. So Smile was directed by Parker Finn, so he made a short film called Lauren Hasn't Slept. So that came out 2020 and submitted film festivals, got picked up by Paramount, and Paramount ended up developing it, helping produce it, and it ended up becoming a feature film which is now released in 2022. So 2 years later, who would have thought? The reason why Smile was so freaky is because of the fact that when the people were smiling, they were actually smiling. There was no CGI involved, and it kind of created that sort of unsettling figure that you see in your everyday life. And now I'm looking around me and thinking, is someone smiling at me because they're gonna kill me? I'm not too sure. But it had some brilliant jump scares. I remember doing a trailer reaction. I did a jump scare to that. Yeah, it was a great film. I think it's probably my favorite horror film of the year. At number 6, I am giving it to Bullet Train. Now, this is what really gets on my nerves. A lot of critics have shat on this film so bad, and I think it's one of David Leitch's masterpieces. This film has everything you could possibly want. It has great cinematography, it's great fight scenes, got funny humor, a lot of cameos from people which I didn't expect, and Brad Pitt was amazing in it. Honestly, it was literally John Wick on a train. And Brad Pitt basically plays a assassin who is a pacifist, which kind of makes it even funnier when you think about it. He has to do a quick pick up and drop scenario. Unfortunately, what he ends up trying to get, which is a briefcase, everyone else on the train is trying to get, and is literally a cat and mouse sort of film that everyone is going after one another, and there's so many brilliant non-linear narrative storyline structure, and it's just so fun to watch because you see everything unfolding and you think, oh, one character has done something which affected another character, which affected another character. I think it's great. I think this film deserved a lot more praise for what it is. At number 5, I give it to The Menu. Now, The Menu is probably my favorite artistic film of the year, and I think everyone did a great job, portraying the characters that they were. You had John Leguizamo, Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult. It was just perfect in what they were trying to create. It's literally almost set in one location. So every year, a group of people pay a certain amount of money to go to the Hawthorne residency to experience this great menu that Ralph Fiennes' character has actually created. And unfortunately, in this one film, you realize that after all these years he's been serving people, he ends up snapping and he creates a final goodbye to the world, if that's the way I could put it. It was beautifully constructed. Each dish had some great, design to it, and you even had an actual Michelin star chef even helping in the production of the film to make sure everything was done straight down to the T. And that is why this film was high on my list, because I enjoyed it so much. The food looked amazing, and it's literally almost as if I was watching a live action MasterChef episode, and there is no happy ending for anyone. Glass Onion is a sequel from the original film that came out 2018 called Knives Out Mystery, directed by Rian Johnson. And honestly, after the stick he got for directing Star Wars The Last Jedi, I hope that he would bring back his directing skills to bring a brilliant murder mystery to the screen, and I'm glad that he did. It was great. I wouldn't say it's better than the first. In my own opinion, I wouldn't say Glass Onion is better than Knives Out Mystery, but I would say it's a very solid sequel though. And it had everything that you could possibly want for. It had lots of twists. It had great character performances. It had a star-studded cast. The trailer marketing was great as well. It was released for 1 week in cinemas, and then it was released the following month on Netflix. So now it is on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. And obviously Daniel Craig did great as Detective Blanc, and everyone just did their roles perfectly. And I think that film, it deserves a lot of credit, especially Rian Johnson, for bringing another murder mystery which is just as good as the first one, but not as good as the first one. At number 3, I give it to The Batman, and The Batman is probably one of the best superhero films I've seen this year. I know a lot of people have said that it's a very slow burning watch and you don't want to put yourself through it, but I worked on it. I enjoyed working on it. I got to sit in the Batmobile. I had a great time, and honestly, Night Shoots absolutely killed me. But also, I respected Matt Reeves because I loved his work from Cloverfield and respect his work for Planet of the Apes, and it's just he just created a new universe now of the Batman in which we can actually relate to a Batman which is as realistic as it could be without the use of CGI aliens or anything like that. It's a very grounded neo-noir detective murder mystery, and I think it's perfect for what Matt Reeves can offer to audiences around the world. At number 2, I'm giving to Avatar: The Way of Water, and my lord, no CGI has ever come close to this. And I watched Avatar 1 on Disney Plus before I went to watch Avatar 2, and I was just blown away at how far the technology has come. They were in production for many years. They started shooting Avatar 2 and 3 back to back, I believe, from 2017 to 2020. And now they're in pre-production for the third film, I believe, which is going to be a lot of work. But if you have not seen the film and you are considering watching it, I beg of you, go to cinemas, watch it in Dolby 3D or watch it in IMAX 3D, and you will not regret it. It's probably visually one of the best films I have seen in my entire life. It's a slow burner. It is over 3 hours long, just to remind you. but also at the same time, when you watch it, you'll be enticed and you'll be intoxicated with the things that you see on screen. And I think James Cameron did an amazing job in directing this and creating this whole new world that we have never seen before. At number 1, I will give it to Top Gun Maverick, and this is the controversial opinion which I think a lot of people will have. And the reason why I say this is the number 1 film for me is because of nostalgia, which is 1, Tom Cruise, which is 2, all the actors in it, which is 3, and also the real life, flight simulations that we thought it was CGI, but it was actually real. Everything that you see on screen is more or less shot in camera in the cockpit of a jet. And this is why I would say Tom Cruise is one of the best action stars in the world currently, alongside Jackie Chan and them. It's just a shame that not a lot of people have shown recognition for his hard work that he puts into film. And honestly, he's one of the last few stars in Hollywood who actually give a crap about filmmaking, who want to create the best viewing experience for the audiences, and he wants to take it to another level. We've seen that with Mission Impossible Fallout. We've seen that with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, in which he released a featurette, a 9-minute featurette, Paramount have, in which he does the most dangerous stunt in Hollywood history as well. And honestly, it just shows that he's keep getting better and better with age. He's aging like fine wine. Top Gun Maverick has everything you could want. It's got great color palette, great directing, great lighting, grading was amazing. Everything was just perfect for that film, and I think it generated about 1.5 or 1.6 billion dollars in the box office, which is Tom Cruise's highest grossing film to date. No other film of his actually gone this far, and it just says a lot about how well this film was made. And honestly, a film which was released 35 years after the original film, I didn't think it would be that good, but honestly, smashed it out the park. I'm so glad that I got to watch this in Dolby in cinemas, and it was the best experience I had. This is my personal opinion of the films I watched over the year, and I probably would change 1 or 2 if I watched the films again. But honestly, this year has been decent for films. There's a lot of complete blowouts which didn't do as well as I thought it would, but I'm excited for 2023 because next week, January 6th, Megan's coming out, and I am excited for that. This is the one film which I love because of the element of AI android attacking and killing people. I just love that aspect, especially the fact that I grew up watching Chucky, and I love Chucky, so this is going to be on my number 1 watch list coming next week. But yeah, 2023 should be a great year for films, and I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully by next year, December, I should have another list which should be a lot better. If you like the video, if you like the reviews, if you like the recommendations, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know as well if you have any other recommendations, if you had any other films that you expected to be on that list, or do you think my list is completely wrong? Just let me know and we can see how we can compare it, because honestly, I genuinely believe that my list is literally personal, but also at the same time, a lot of people are going to throw out a lot of the films I have on my list, but that's just the way it is. And I hope I get to see you in my next video.